How y'all doing? This is Mr. Hardcore Mode, where nothing is easy, here to bring you another hard rant into relations with Nintendo Switch 2. Nintendo Switch 2 has just been announced on their Nintendo Direct little, 50-minute sort of video announcement, and they did something that I knew exactly what they were going to do. They were going to show some pretty banger games. One which was Mario Kart World, and the other one was Duskblood, which is a PvP PvE from software game. I know what you're thinking. Is it only going to be in Switch 2? Yeah, it is. Anyway, let's continue on with more bad news. So, with that whole Nintendo Direct, this is what they should be doing, but they like to play this game anyway. They didn't introduce the amount of the game and the prices of the AAA Nintendo games for Switch 2. But Jeff Keighley has launched that sort of information, so let's see what he's got. Nintendo Switch 2 launches June 5th. Really close. That's like literally weeks before Stellar Blade comes to PC. We're gonna play the shit out of that game. I'm gonna play with no pants on. Anyway, the Nintendo the Nintendo Switch 2, along with Mario Kart, because it's gonna come together, is going to be $500. Now you're probably looking at that like, oh, okay, well the system might cost less if Mario Kart World isn't in there. No. Japan don't play that, okay? If you buy Mario Kart World alone, it is going to have its own price. And the Nintendo Switch 2 is still going to be $500. Why does Nintendo do this? Because they feel like they own this shit. That's why. They have such a big head, and I guess it's kind of... There's a word for it. I guess it's kind of earned, but at the same time, they think they're so big that they can do no wrong. And I sort of see half of what they're saying, but also the other half is the customers. The customer is king and queen. I didn't forget you ladies. I promise you're there. Anyway, go back to the kitchen. Anyway, pre-orders on April 9th. Digital games will now be $80, and the physical edition of the game will be $90. You know what this means? GameStop's gonna fall. Okay, I mean, GameStop has already fallen already, and we don't care because they've traded like horrible trades with us. But after this, GameStop's gone, and then this is what the bar is going to be from now on. Things are going to just fluctuate with the prices. This is going to be absolutely insane. Nobody on the internet is going, oh shit, I got this. Well, I did see one individual. I did finally find that one individual, but even he sounded skeptical. He was like, all right, I'll get it, but only because Miyazaki's new Bloodborne game's gonna be there. Even he sounded skeptical, but everybody else was like, nah, son, that ain't for me. You remember back then when you were a kid and you would go to like GameStop and you could probably swindle your parents into getting at least one game? If you were able to swindle 2 games out of your parents, it was because your grades were good or your parents were horrible parents, okay? Sometimes they just want you to shut the fuck up, okay? But I remember that one time I was looking at my parents and I was just like, Mom, I need this game. I need this game. This game is, I need it. It's calling me. And I think that was Gears of War. She saw that game and she was like, it's kind of too bloody. And then I played the game and you know, she got it for me because it was my birthday, and it was pretty cool. It was awesome. Gears of War was cool. And of course, that was around the time when I had both an Xbox and a PlayStation. I played Kingdom Hearts. I played Gears of War. This was the good old days. I also got myself a little job, and I was able to get certain games. My father didn't like that because I was spending my money frivolously, but after a while, I started to learn how to save my money. But this is what happened back in the day when games were $60. And now you remember that time when parents were just like, when people were just like, oh shit, games are gonna be $70. Well, it's been a while. The $60 thing has been, it was bound to happen. They're kind of late. We've been having $60 games for a while, and now here we are. When was the last time we had that $70 conversation about games being $70? Wasn't it like literally like a year or 2 years ago? Like there was a window for $60 to $70 that was huge. But that 60 to but from the 70 to fucking $80 was just this big. And it's just whiplash with everybody, because this is what's going to happen when your cost of living is shooting up so fucking fast that when they see Nintendo Switch 2 with this bullshit marketing system, you're starting to double think and be like, am I literally about to buy Nintendo Switch 2 and purchase 5 Nintendo Switch 2 games, and that'll equate to a second Nintendo Switch 2 console? Yeah, that's it. It only would take 5 fucking Nintendo Switch 2s to get, I mean, games, by the way, to get a fucking Nintendo Switch console. That's where we're at right now. That's where we're at. And I love the fact that, let me show you this. Somebody was over here saying, today gamers are laughable and clueless when they cry about modern games, lol. I paid over $70 for some SNES games over 20 years ago. Nigga, these are Canadian fucking numbers, okay? This is Canadian shit, alright? Just because your market over there in fucking pancake land is higher doesn't mean it should affect us, okay? Because all this 80 to 70 stuff, it was 60 over here in US of A, buddy. Okay? Alright, your Canadian shit, this is because of your government. You signed up for this. Probably not you, probably your parents. This is your government. Your government said, yeah, let these niggas. This is back in the day? Well, guess what? If this is what it looks like back in the day in Canada, back in the day, this was Canada, nigga, you're looking at $100 per on each and every one of these games. If we're talking about Switch 2, like, you're talking about it being laughable and shit. This is your government, okay? So, well, there it is. It was $80 due to limitations of hardware and storage mediums that in turn created high costs. It doesn't cost them anything to sell a game digitally or physically. That would justify the price over 50 to 60. These were all physical. And they had stock. Those are Canadian prices. It's crazy how many people are mixing this up and sharing it like it's fact. It is not. I lived through this time. That SNES N64 was my peak time for playing games. My parents would crucify me if games cost that much during that time. Exactly. This is my world. This is what I had. I had the occasional $70 game. Some of the games were $50. It kind of fluctuated. These were the prices that I saw. These are the things that I saw. People understand that pricing wasn't consistent back then. You could see a $10 difference from Toys R Us to Sears to Kmart to Electronics Boutique. If you even had that many choices. That's true. There weren't that, like, video games didn't pop off until later. These sort of fluctuation titles, if you look at this correctly, wait. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is this AI? Get this shit out of my face. Get this shit out of my face. Those aren't even the right fucking prices, you fucking... I looked at this for a second. I was just like, okay, most of these games were $50 to $60. I don't know how Mortal Kombat was $70. And then I looked at the art and I was like, this is fucking AI. So we're gonna count that as a lie. We're gonna count that as a fucking lie. Man, it's crazy to me how much has changed, because now we're in the era of now we can do this whole justifying like the market shit all we want. All that matters is the price of living. Okay, you want to market the games up to $100? Okay, guess what thing people are going to prioritize? They're going to prioritize living. They can't play their game if they don't have a house to live in. Like, what? You want them to drive around every Starbucks and live in their car and then plug in their Nintendo Switch 2, and then what? They can barely afford bread, so they're just gonna buy a macchiato and then call it lunch? Is that what we're doing now? Is that what we're doing? Because I think that's where we're gonna go. That's where we're gonna go. We could do this like, it's laughable, guys. Is it laughable? Is it? The price of living has skyrocketed, and it's going to continue to skyrocket. And this is what we got. Now, GTA 6 isn't even out yet. Do you know how much GTA 6 is going to be? I think it's going to be $100. I could feel it's going to be $100. Let me down the music. I apologize. I think it's... Yeah, it's downright. Let me go ahead and check chat. To be honest, I think part of the problem with the high prices now is how many there are. Look at that, 15 games. Now, 150 a month. Honestly, I think there's just too damn much for all games to be worth that much too. True. Those prices don't make sense for that time. No, it didn't make sense because it was fucking AI. I was looking at that, I was like, why is the art all muffled? It was a fucking AI picture. I looked at this and I was like, what the fuck? This is AI. It's fucking AI. Even if they were the right prices, the $50 games were less exciting than the $70 ones. Nowadays, I'm more excited about $20 games anyway. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, indie games are going to... Indie games are going to fucking skyrocket. People like Hollow Knight. People like Valheim. People like Minecraft, people like all these sort of games that are like low amount, people like, what's it called, Vampire Survivors, people like, woo, hold on, we can go down the list of games that are affordable right down on here. People like Sea of Stars, people like Core Keeper, I like Core Keeper, what else do we got? Death Must Die. It's kind of like Vampire Survivors. All these sort of Kickstarter games, I played My Time at Sandrock. Yes, I know that game is kind of, you know, not for everybody, but shut the fuck up, Briars. Anyway, that's a good game. All these sort of games. Outwards. Outwards was like $40, and now it has a definitive edition. We got War Tales. We got No Man's Sky that keeps on bringing, keeps on delivering. Marvel Rivals, which was fucking free. Like, we have all these wonderful games that we have not played, that we have in backlog, where it's just like, indie games are gonna be the big ones. You remember Schedule 1? You remember Schedule 1, that one game that beat Assassin's Creed Shadows numbers? Where all you're doing is delivering weed and making an empire on drugs? Yeah, I know it's out there. I know it's a little kooky and crazy, but it's making more money than Assassin's Creed Shadows. Now we got games like Atom Fall. We got games that... This is a $60 game, the first Berserker Kazan. A good game. All these games. Ooh, Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous came out and it was $50. A really good game with multiple, like, sort of, you know, endings and possibilities that you could do with builds. Metro. You can play Metro every year and be happy. Blasphemous. Fucking Blasphemous. We have all these wonderful games. And I know motherfuckers are still playing Fallout 3 in New Vegas. So, when you come to me with this bullshit, and I know it's going to sell because that's just how Nintendo rolls, I'm just going to tell you right now, Nintendo's not going to sell. It's going to sell, but it's not going to sell like you think it's going to sell. Because parents can only take so much. I'm going to tell you right now, in a black household, when my dad saw those prices, if my dad saw those prices, and I was like, can I have that game? All right, let's see the price. Oh, $80. Hell no, hell no, hell no. Get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. But dude, you mean to tell me we still got V-Bucks for children? V-Bucks for children. We got Roblox. We got all these little microtransactions they like to put on children, and you want to throw in $80 games? $90 games? Ooh, boy, you in for something. You know, mom and dads are starting to realize that Steam might be the winner here. Steam might be the thing where parents are starting to deliver Steam cards to their children, and they're just like, hey kid, go nuts. Here's $30 for a Steam card. Awesome! I got 2 games and there's a sale. Thanks, Dad. That's how it's gonna be. Old AAA, AA, and indie are what I've been playing. True for me too. Rise of Ronin was $50 on PC. God damn. How are the numbers between Assassin's Creed Shadows and Rise of Ronin? You know what? I don't even need to check that out right now. Just a soundtrack of Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2 was worth the price. I understand that. I understand that people are going to look at that and be like, oh, nostalgia. But they are riding off of nostalgia on you right now. I think that's cool that there's going to be a Donkey Kong game. That's great. But I need you guys to just do one thing and one thing only. Just watch out, man. Just watch out. Because these prices are fucking insane. Do the games look great? Absolutely the games look great. It's not about the games. It's about the cost of living and the prices. If they are willing to disrespect you with these kind of prices, then just watch out. Try to look at it this way. Let Nintendo work on your time. You know what I mean? Let Nintendo be like, hey, I like your games, I like your system, even though it literally is Switch, but it's literally Switch 1.5. I will buy your thing when I'm good and ready. That's it. That's it. I'll buy your game when I'm good and ready. Oh, you're waiting to hear the numbers for the first week that Nintendo Switch is going to come out? Yeah, that's not going to be me, buddy. It's not going to be me. And also, like we talked about before, you want to make these multiplayer games, one of a person... You know how these multiplayer games work? It works only when your friends are able to play, okay? Not many people are out there searching for new friends. So if there is a person out there that has a Nintendo Switch 2 and your other friend has a PC, well, you want to play with your friends, otherwise playing a multiplayer game alone doesn't really feel that great. So you're playing a multiplayer game alone with people you don't know. That does not sound fun. You might find a friend, but at the end of the day, you know, it would be cool if I played with my boy Joe, you know, with my friend Demi, Hobo, Briars, if we all got together and played fucking, you know, Mario Kart World. But not all of us have $500 to $600. You see what I'm saying? So, oh, and here's another thing. Nintendo don't like discounts. Steam loves discounts. Steam loves sales. Nintendo, as soon as they hear like, all right, 5% off on Breath of the Wild. Yes, but only for 15 hours. That's Nintendo. That's Nintendo. All right, fine. You can get this game for like 10% off. Awesome. The sale's gone. Yeah, it's already gone. Back to original price, baby. Back to the original price. They hate sales over in the e-store. They hate that shit. You want to know the funny thing is? They have sales on for Nintendo Switch 2. They have free games that are in the Switch 1 that are carrying over to the Switch 2, and they're free games you can pick up on the e-store. One of them is that boxing game. What's it called? What's that game called? Let me find it. Punch Out or something like that? No, it's not Punch Out. People are literally talking about hacking this game. 12 Nintendo Switch 2 games can play on Steam Deck today. Damn. Let's see. There it is, right there. Boom, found it. Here it is. Here's the games. ARMS. Ain't nobody gonna fucking play ARMS, bruh. That sucky ass game. You know what ARMS was good for? Rule 34. That's all I'm saying. We're gonna continue the conversation. No, I don't want to talk about it. No. So these games will all come from the Switch. You see these games? Pokemon Violet, Scarlet. You got Mario Brothers U Deluxe. We got Garage. We got the Zelda Echoes of Wisdom game where you play as Zelda. All these games are going to be free games. Free updates for select Nintendo Switch games. So free updates to improve playability on the Switch 2 systems will be really... Wait. Are they going to be free games or free updates? Free updates to improve playability on the Nintendo Switch 2 system. You release by connecting the Switch 2 to the internet. You can download free updates that may improve performance. Oh, you don't get free games. My bad. I almost gave Nintendo a win. I'm over here like, yo, you get free games. No, you get free updates that improve the performance of games that should have had better performance in the beginning, in the get-go. I'm over here. Wow, they give you free games. No, free updates to select games. I tried to find something. I'm over here thinking like, oh shit, they give you free games at least. No, free updates. My bad. Wrong thing. No fake news, Mr. Hardcoreman. I'm trying. At least I read it twice. All right. Sorry about that. So this is all I want to say at the end of all this. Watch out for your bank account, because these developers are really trying to fleece you for everything that you have. Do the best you can with what you have, because this sort of nonsense right here, this is only the beginning. It's already been happening. So do what you will, play the games that you enjoy, go from there. If there's going to be a collapse, I think it should happen now. Maybe after GTA 6, when they announce a $100 game, the gaming industry should have a collapse. It should, because I firmly believe this. In order for us to grow and learn in the gaming industry is for someone to fail. Someone has to take a fall. In order for... It's like a big stack of cards, and the developers are all the way up top. All the way up top of the deck of cards, and we're at the bottom. They need to realize real quick that that deck of cards can fall at any moment, and you could be down here with the rest of us. But anyway, that's all I gotta say on this game. I think they mean they will work on Nintendo Switch 2, and if you had them digitally on Switch, you can get them playable on 2 as a free update. That is also what they're saying, but they're also saying like they're gonna do performance updates for those said games, which is ridiculous because shouldn't they already have good performance when they come out? So, just saying. Oh, we got a new system. We'll now take care of the performance issues with the previous games. And I'm like, couldn't do that when it's everyone. If it was just devs fleecing it, it would have even been that bad. True. Hardware, especially GPUs, 3D art software besides Blender, all these games, subscription, movies, groceries, fast food, clothes. I would rather have groceries and clothes and all these things than to... I've already done the whole spend all my money on frivolous things and, you know, not pay my rent. I've already done that. And I don't want anybody ever to do something stupid like I have done that before in my life. Just be careful out there. A digital game shouldn't be above 45 bucks. 45 bucks? I wish. I wish. That sounds great. Especially with when it comes to Steam giving you licenses to the game. They're not giving you the game. They're giving you a license. Also, most importantly, rent is going sky high. Yes, it is. It's already happened to me. So, anyway, thank you for joining me on this hard rant. We're going to keep on going.